Hey everybody, and welcome to the Stitch Sessions. I am over the moon today to welcome my special guest Paul, who is an avid traveler and world explorer. And so we are going to catch up on some of his travels. We're going to do a little crocheting, and we're going to take it from there. What do you think?
I think it's great.
Okay.
I can't wait to get into it.
Stick around. Left-handed or right-handed?
Left.
Oh, this is going to be fun! Okay, perfect. No problem. Okay, excellent. Do you know left-handed people are extremely creative?
I've heard that.
Yeah.
In fact, I heard they are either really smart.
Yes, I've heard that too.
Or not so smart.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. Okay, well this is super exciting because you're my first left-handed crocheter.
Great.
Excellent. So you're just going to do everything I do, and in a way it might be easier because you're just going to mirror what I do.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, so you're going to just create a loop and just kind of pinch the little crisscross part there. Beautiful. Then you're going to take your hook and find a way that's comfortable for you. Some people are comfortable in the pencil position. Some people are comfortable in the knife position. Mm-hmm. This is my comfort zone, so whatever works for you. So you're just going to place the hook through and then pull the outside yarn through.
Okay, hang on, don't panic. Okay, I'm doing that and I'm grabbing this.
Yep.
And
that's it. Pull through.
And I'm pulling it through the hoop?
Yep, through the hoop.
Okay, hang on. All right. Okay, am I the most special person
at all.
You've ever seen in your life?
Okay,
hold
so
on.
We're going to start that again. So, right, so you've created the loop, right? So make sure the tail part, the little part, is down.
Oh, okay.
So I think that'll help. Because then you want to grab the long part.
All right. So I'm going through the loop. I'm taking...
See how this long part is kind of over the top?
Now look, watch this. Look at this. Look at this.
There you go. So you pull it through and now you just go whoop.
Okay, do I pull this?
Yep. Oh, wow. Interesting.
Okay.
Let's do it again. More coffee, sir?
Yeah, I'm going to have to fortify myself for the next step.
Okay, so let me see if I can do... Okay. So yeah, see how you have the little tail in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
So you have the little tail there, and you're going to loop towards the back so that you have that.
So if I just do this and do that, that's good.
Beautiful. See that?
Now, taking this.
So see how I'm holding it?
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay.
That's great. Now you just take that, you loop it through, and then you...
Grab that little...
Yep. You pull it through. A really easy way to grab it is if you have the hook part facing down.
Okay.
So see, then you can hook it towards you.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Beautiful. Now pull it through, and then you just hold on to the little tail and the long part.
Okay. Why is it not
going?
Because
you're pinching this part. Just hold the little tail now, and this part here together. Okay, now pull.
Oh.
Yes, you've created a slip knot. So the loop is kind of big, so what you do now is just hold the long part and just whoop.
Oh, okay.
And that's why they call it a slip knot.
Great. It's like a lasso.
There you go. And then just move your hook in, like make sure it's comfortable, it's not too tight. Okay. Step number 1 is done. Exciting.
Is that the longest time you've done step number 1 with someone?
I've never counted the longest time. I've counted the shortest time. So now what you want to do is always hold the short end right now towards you. Okay, good. And now what you want to do is just dip your hook under so you've got kind of a second loop there.
Between the two?
Yes. So when you have, let me actually, I should do the same as you. So you've got the short loop here, right? So what you're going to do, see how I have the long end on this side? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck that hook under Right.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. And see how the hook will catch it there?
Right.
Yeah. So you want to catch that, and then you're going to pull it through the other one.
So I'm going to do that.
Yep.
And then I'm going to pull it.
Yeah. So you want to keep a little bit of tension here.
Right.
And so that's why we want to widen this. And so this one you're going to pull it through here. So now what happens is, because you're holding so far away,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to just do this right-handed for a second. So I will kind of hold here, and I've got this trapped here so that I've got some control here. If I'm back here, it's a little bit harder to control. So I just come a little bit further in.
I need more, and this has got to be looser.
Just a smidge.
There.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And so now you're going to tuck it under.
Here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go underneath.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing this thing.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to pull it through.
I'm going to pull it through.
Yeah.
This is going to happen.
It will happen. There you go.
Watch this. Look at that.
Yes, we have a winner.
There you go.
Now, right now what's happening is your tension is very loose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because we just haven't understood yet how to kind of keep a tone here. So if I were holding it like this, see how it's challenging? So as you get more comfortable with this, you will understand kind of how to hold the base here. And for me, I like to kind of trap it here. So see how there's a little bit of tension?
Right.
So now when I go under, see I've got some control there.
There.
Oh, so that's the short one. So you want to
okay.
go, you always want to grab the long one.
Good.
So you're on the other side.
Got it? I got it.
So see, I'm holding just like you. So the short side on the front.
Right.
And so you want to always dip down towards the out. We're getting there.
Yeah, this is really going to happen. And I'm not having enough. Okay. Okay, so what did I just do, Karen?
You did what we call a chain stitch.
Okay.
Exciting.
So I've done a slip knot.
You've done a slip knot.
I've done a chain stitch.
And a chain stitch.
When am I going to make a tablecloth?
As soon as you master 40,000 of these. So all projects start with a slip knot. It gets you started. And the chain stitch is generally the foundation of most garments, like a tablecloth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you can just continue practicing your chain stitch.
Right.
So what happens is if I do a few of these in a row, you're going to get like a braid effect.
Okay.
So see how that's coming along?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, and that's the foundation of how you're going to begin to then build on that.
Right. Right.
So what I always say is take your time.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now you're going to dip under.
Like this.
Yes, beautiful.
And
to
I'm
catch.
going to take that.
Yes.
And I'm going to bring this baby right through here.
Through, yes.
It's going to be so amazing. There.
Okay, it's coming out.
No, it's not. Why am I getting... Okay.
You got it.
There. I'm getting it. There. It's coming.
OMG! Chain number 2! This deserves a coffee break.
Yeah.
Woo!
Okay, I'm kind of getting this thing. Now...
And then you're just going to make... Let's get you to make 1,000 of those for your practice. And that's the beginning of a good tablecloth.
Right. How much battery power do you have in that thing? Honest to goodness. Oh my
Well,
okay.
This is what I love about this kind of stuff is because you can kind of just, I find crocheting meditative.
Right.
So sometimes I can just kind of mindlessly do some chain work and, we can have a little chit chat, for example, or some people like to watch TV or just kind of zone out a little bit.
Yeah, my mom used to do this, eh?
Yeah, you were telling me.
Yeah, so we used to go when we used to travel to BC, because that's where her family was from.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the bus depot, and that's what she used to do. As we waited for the bus to go from Calgary to Revelstoke, she would sit there and crochet a tablecloth.
Yeah, with the really fine threads, right?
And she would go so freaking fast.
Yeah, she probably learned when she was a child, right?
Yeah, my grandmother used to do it.
Very good. We're up to 3 chains, people.
Okay,
this is
but
good.
now it's getting. See that? See this big loop there?
That's okay. So what you do is when you get a big loop like that, you just kind of gently rein it in a little bit with the long tail.
The long one?
Yeah. There you go. Just brings it back up. Now, while Paul works on that, I'm actually going to pick up my current project here, which is the easiest stitch hat you're ever going to see. And so you're going to have to come back next week because I have a tutorial on this hat. It doesn't look like much of a hat now, but it's going to become a hat. So that's what I'm going to continue on with. Now, I was telling everybody that you are an avid traveler.
Right.
So tell me, you just came back from doing the Camino.
I did.
Oh,
I did.
tell me more.
So we started in a place called Ferrol, which is in the northern part. It's on the coast of Galicia, which is in the north. Galicia is a province of Spain just above Portugal. So Portugal's northern border doesn't go all the way up to the coast. Okay. And Ferrol used to be the port that people, or at least pilgrims from England, used to come to Ferrol. And they would land in Ferrol, and then they would take the trail, 123 kilometers,
wow,
to, give me a hint, Santiago. Santiago de Compostela.
Yeah.
And that's what they used to do. So we did that route, and it was a lot of fun. And I absolutely, strongly recommend it. Well,
I'm dying to do it, so I'm glad you're fresh from it.
I don't know if you ever saw that movie, which I haven't seen.
The Way?
The Way. With, was it Martin Sheen?
It was Martin Sheen and his son, Emilio Estevez. And I have to tell you, both times I saw it, I cried.
Oh,
both
really?
Freaking times, yeah. Well, maybe if I saw it now a third time, I wouldn't cry. But it was The Way is really all about your internal spiritual journey, and I think that's why a lot of people go on it. Some people go on it because they want to get into shape. Right. Yeah, it was a whole scene where they finally arrive at the church.
Right.
With the incense going and all that stuff, and you could see some people were just really in awe of this whole procedure. Now, having a few years after I've seen that film and talking to more people who've done bits and parts of the Camino, I don't know if I'd be as mysticized by it, or maybe I would. Maybe it's you have to do the experience. I mean, you've just come back from the experience, so give me a little bit about your insight.
Well, you know what? You know, there's that expression about the journey being. It's about the journey and not about the destination.
Right.
I mean, the church is wonderful.
Yeah.
However, it really is about being with a friend and talking and taking the trip and stuff like that. And you always come there. I think everyone comes there with some, not baggage, but something in mind. And and it's a great time to be kind of introspective and think about your life and where it's going and stuff like that. And at the end of the trip, I think you kind of come to some deeper understanding of who you are, where you want to go, and that sort of thing. And so in that sense, it's a great trip, and I really recommend it.
So did you? I mean, obviously, you found some of those benefits on the trip for you.
Yeah.
I know you went with a friend. Some people go with a group. Some people go by themselves. So it was you and a friend that did the walk.
Right. It was he and I and his wife. Now she just picked us up. Picked us up when we finished, and then she dropped us off when we start the next morning. Now, we didn't do the typical Camino. That is, we didn't stay at hostels and stuff like that. We stayed at hotels or Airbnbs.
Sounds like my kind of travel.
You know, I'm not. Honest to goodness.
You get to an age, too, where it's like, you know, when you're younger, that whole roughing it idea seems so romantic, and I'm over it.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to be in a pile of bunks with some guy snoring. And,
I know. This is the nightmare
and
I've
someone
heard.
else playing the guitar in the corner. No. I don't want to do
that. So you had a little bit more, slightly more comfortable accommodations.
Yeah. So the hotel, the swimming pool.
Oh, nice.
The lovely dinners at night, that sort of thing. So nice. It was really good. And what's nice about Galicia is that unlike the south of Spain, which like places like Torremolinos and Marbella down in the coast there, the Costa del Sol or Costa Brava near Barcelona, it's less touristy.
Okay,
So you don't
I like
get,
that.
Yeah, you don't get.
You really feel like you get to know the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a very different feel. By the way, how do you like that?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
We kind of have a straight line.
It's supposed to be straight, eh?
Actually, no. You know what? I take that back. It's common that sometimes when you're first getting used to it, it just gets a wee bit twisted.
Mm-hmm.
But see when you turn around, look at that. See how it looks like a braid effect?
Right, yeah,
That's
yeah.
really good.
Oh, good. Oh,
Paul, holy cow, maybe he's going to make a hat too.
You know what? If retirement doesn't work out for me, I've got something to fall back on.
Well, you can always come back as a guest on the stitch sessions, you know. Things are looking up here in life. So, so all in all, your trip was lovely.
Was good,
Yeah.
and it's also really nice to be part of something that's, in a sense, bigger than you. Because this has been, the Camino was something that people did, for hundreds of years. The pilgrims used to go there because they were going to see the, supposedly,
yes.
Supposedly, the place where St. James the Apostle was buried.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they've actually ever proven this.
Yeah, and I'm not certain if anyone needs... I'm not certain you really need to believe it.
I agree.
You know, you don't have to... But it doesn't take anything away from it.
Now, did you do the typical, like, get a little... usually you get a Camino passport and you get it stamped at all the stops? Yeah?
Yeah. So you can get a passport before you leave.
And where do you go? Oh, before you leave your home country.
I actually... you can actually buy it online, and then what happens, you send, I can't remember, just €5 or something. It's quite cheap.
Oh, okay.
And you get the passport, and you probably buy it in Spain, but I had it before I left. You have the passport, and then what you do is you have to get it stamped at two places, two different towns, every day, and usually it's in a tavern. Could be in a church. It could be
so most people have this stamp waiting for the pilgrims to come by. Oh, very cool.
So, typically what we did was in a tavern.
Yeah.
So we'd stop.
How appropriate.
We'd stop for a café con leche.
Yeah.
And they would stamp it, and they'd often give you little tapas.
Oh, nice.
And so you're treated really well as a pilgrim on the trip,
So, so you're fresh off of that. You've been to a lot of places, Paul. What is it about traveling that calls you?
You know what? I like the adventure of it. I like seeing other places. I feel as though I want to fit as much in as I possibly can since I've retired.
Has it been a year?
Karen, that's very generous of you, dear.
Oh.
It'll be 5 years in June.
I thought you retired the same time Joanna did.
No, I think
and it's probably coming up on
I don't know.
3 years from
I know we're pretty close.
Okay. Wow. I keep talking about this with a lot of my guests. Time is crazy how it flies by. Oh, I thought you were just a little spring chicken, newly retired. Well, it's 5 years.
Well, you know what? I did dropping this freaking
You're doing great. Keep going.
I'm actually
by the way, Paul is retired from teaching.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. 31 years. Started my career in Fort McMurray.
No way.
Didn't I tell you that?
I didn't know that, actually.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so I started in Fort McMurray.
Okay.
I was working on the road, filling cracks in the road in my friend's company on the 402.
That sounds just like you.
Working on the blacktop. It was unbelievably hot.
I can imagine.
You know that gummy stuff you put in the cracks?
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing.
Oh,
Between
fun.
London and Surrey.
In the heat? Wow.
So there was a job offer, or there was an interview for Fort McMurray, and I didn't really know anything about Fort McMurray, but it was an opportunity to come back to Toronto and get off the freaking highway. And so I went for the interview, fully expecting not to get the job.
Why do you say that?
Well, because I'd gone through so many, and it was early to mid 80s, and there were no teaching jobs.
Oh, I see.
So it was tough to get a job, and so what happened was I ended up going for the interview, and I just gotten back from Revelstoke, which is in BC, where my grandmother lived.
Wow.
And I did some fishing there and stuff like that. So I talked to the guy, the superintendent. He ended up being the superintendent. And we talked about teaching for about 10 minutes. Then we talked about my fishing trip in Revelstoke. And he said, oh, by the way, do you want the job?
Oh, man.
Which was, yeah.
Sometimes it's really about how you connect with the other person.
Right.
Right? Obviously, you need the qualifications, but yeah, I mean, understanding how to connect with people is so important.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's almost more important.
I agree. I agree.
Than the skills.
Because skills, I mean, obviously, skills can be taught, skills can be learned.
Kind of
but
like
that's
crocheting.
Something, right? Good segue. Good
It's like
connection.
as I struggle with this next chain thing.
But you're now up to like, it looks like about 15, which is fantastic.
Yeah, look at that.
Yay!
See? Look.
Check it out, world. So yeah, so then you got the job and you taught for 30 years.
No, it was only 2 years in Fort McMurray.
Oh, okay.
2 years in Fort McMurray.
So the job actually started out there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how did you manage to transfer back to Toronto?
Well, you know what happened was I decided, you know what, I had enough of Fort McMurray. 2 winters was enough. Met some really good friends that I still have today.
I love it.
So what I did is I said, you know what, I'm going to retire. So me and a very good friend, Tom, went to Greece, and we spent a summer after I resigned, I should say, not retired, from Fort McMurray, spent a summer traveling in Greece. So we went to all the Greek islands and stuff like that.
So
and
wait a
camped on
minute,
beaches.
you resigned from teaching after those first 2 years?
Right. So
but with the
25
intent
years.
of coming back, or you just thought, I need a break to figure out?
Coming back to Toronto.
Okay, so that was your goal, was just to come back to the east here.
Right, and look for a job in Toronto.
Okay.
And I got a, what did I get? So I got back from Greece.
Oh, and how was Greece, by the way?
Greece was fabulous.
Oh.
And I shouldn't say this.
Well, my first guest, Tassos, he is from Greece, and he also just came back from spending the summer.
Where'd he go?
I think his family is from the south, he told me.
Like on the mainland? Like the Peloponnesus?
Not sure. I want to say he's, Tassos, sorry, I'm screwing this up. Not far from Athens, but kind of far from Athens.
I'm going to say the Peloponnesus. Like where Olympia is.
He said something about the Ionian side.
Ionian side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was asking him about Corfu, because I watched this fabulous show on Corfu. And
I was there.
Really?
Corfu, yeah. And the other place I wouldn't mind going is there's an island on the same side, a bigger island. Did you ever see that movie, give me a hint?
Mamma Mia?
No. Captain Corelli's Mandolin.
No.
Who was the guy in it? I can't remember. He's in a bunch of movies.
What year did that movie come out?
Yeah, it was probably 2000. It was.
Is that a remake of something?
No.
Oh.
Who's I can't think of the names. Cruz, but not
Tom.
Not Tom. Penelope Cruz and blank, and his father's very, very famous too. Nicolas Cage.
Oh. Yes, this is sounding familiar to me.
Yeah, and it's about the Italian occupation of Greece during the Second World War.
Oh, I have seen this film. We're talking a ways back.
Ways back. I thought it was around 2000.
You're probably right.
It wasn't a great movie. But what is interesting about it is it takes place, I believe, on the island of Kefalonia, which is the island south of Corfu.
Oh, wow.
So when I thought, you know what, that wouldn't be a bad island to go to because, darn, I just blew that stick. Because it's not really popular. You know, and I thought, oh, that would be kind of cool.
See, I like that idea of traveling as well. So how was it?
So Greece was a lot of fun. We were there for a month.
Beautiful.
We went to Corfu, Ios, Mykonos, Rhodos, Crete.
Would you say that's kind of what ignited that little bug in you when you were able to see all that stuff?
I was 25 and I'd never been to Europe before.
Wow. And so
Yeah.
you just jumped right in, and here you are.
Yeah, that's right. And so it was a great trip. And Tom says he got married about 2 years later. And he confided in me, and he was very happily married to Emily.
Mm-hmm.
And he confided in me, he said that trip to Greece was more fun than my honeymoon.
Oh. Well, you know, there's something to be said by continually discovering new lands.
Exactly. But we camped on the beaches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we just camped on the beaches. We were there for 28 days. I think we camped for 24 days or something like that.
Wow. Well, you were also 25, right?
We're
so
25, which
imagine
is
doing that now, right?
Yeah, I won't do it.
Yeah.
I won't do
but,
it.
But back then it was fantastic,
It was
I'm sure.
fantastic. And it was still, Greece wasn't part of the Euro. There was no EU. So,
Right.
So it was the drachma, which
Wow.
was always easy. Cheap,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, things are a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
You know, and it's also a lot more crowded.
It is. I mean, I just, when I was in Venice, just this summer.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's another place. Oh, Venice is so romantic. I love Venice, blah, blah, blah. But I have to be honest, I'm super thankful that I got a chance to go there.
Mm-hmm.
But if I never set foot in Venice ever again,
Really?
it'll be fine. And I'm going to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
It had nothing to do with the whole essence. Well, the essence has become that. But it had nothing to do with Venice itself. The problem with Venice is it's become the land of the selfie stick. So over every canal, every bridge, it's just jammed with tourists who aren't even taking in the scenery. They're too busy looking through this little lens, or they've got these damn selfie sticks, and they're just letting the moment escape them. And it's it really made me stand back and go, wow, this is not the way I want to travel. So when you're telling me that you found places that don't really have tourists, that's my kind of travel.
Right.
I really want to get in. I want to get inundated into the culture. Although I have to say, I went to see the Peggy Guggenheim Museum. She had a house in Venice. And,
is that right?
And then she donated it, I believe, or left it to continue on as an art gallery. And I have to tell you, that was phenomenal. And I've seen the documentary on her. And it's phenomenal, and it's great to be in that place where she had all these groovy artists and people there. So see, stuff like that I love. I love historical sites. I love things with real essence. But when you've got, you know, kids and tourists smacking cameras around, it just kind of takes it away.
Well, they're there for a few hours because they're on the cruise ship.
Right.
Right. So that's what they do.
And that's
and
a
then
funny
they
thing.
leave.
Yeah.
Were you ever there at night?
I did. But funny you say the cruise, because we were doing a cruise and it ended in Venice. Now, I took my friend Lynn's advice and stayed an extra day in Venice. So the family left, so they docked, they had half a day, and I remember they were just trying to cram everything about Venice into those 8 hours, and I thought, oh, man. So I took her advice, thankfully. So we had a whole other day after that, so after they left. And so we got to see 2 full nights in Venice, which was lovely. Yeah. So being able to stroll through the streets in the evening. And of course, the other thing that was unfortunate is every time you turn around, there's those carts with the buy a mask, buy a fan, Murano glass. And I mean, the thing is a lot of those little tchotchkes are basically made in China. So, you know, my girlfriend's like, I can't believe you're not shopping, you're not buying anything. And it's like, you know what? I'm at an age now where it's like, these are just dust collectors. Yeah. If I had seen an actual street artist creating something or actually blowing the glass, for example, I would purchase something that, like, to me, that would remind me of the experience. But just to buy a keychain or whatever, I mean, and not, you know, I have nothing against people that do that, but for me, I'm trying not to accumulate stuff anymore. I'm trying to accumulate experiences like this. So, kind of a long-winded story there. Look at your chain. I'm
getting better at it.
See, with practice.
I'm channeling.
Look at you're channeling.
I'm channeling my mom in the chain.
See.
But I'm kind of getting it. Like
you are totally getting it.
Like I remember how she.
That's amazing.
Kind of used to do that. And so I'm excited about that. But I was thinking, you know, funny, I downtown yesterday. I know what made me think about it. Thinking about my mom and waiting for the bus and her crocheting. I went by the bus depot. Ever gone into the Toronto bus depot?
I don't think so.
It's a bit depressing, eh?
Really?
Yeah, it is.
How come?
I don't know, because it seems, people seem so forlorn there. But
Wow,
yeah,
that's quite a scene you're painting in my mind.
Yeah. Well,
so how would you
gungy.
describe the type? Yeah, it's kind of gungy. How would you
Yeah.
describe the people that are going to the bus?
Well, I
terminal?
think kind of, in some ways, desperate, eh?
Really?
Yeah, like not happy travelers, you know? And I thought,
Why do you think they are gravitating to there?
why do you think they're gravitating to the bus depot?
Like as opposed to like if you go to Union Station, for example, or the GO
Right.
trains, it's a different vibe.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a
So-
lot more excitement, I think.
Yeah.
But the
so-
bus depot is, I've got to get out of town. This is the cheapest way I can do it.
Yeah.
You know, but I
The
don't know.
stories those walls could tell. Right?
Yeah, and do you remember Joanna taking the bus? Did she ever tell you the story about her taking the bus?
I
From
don't.
Sudbury? Well, one time.
I don't think so. Oh, recently, and the bus broke down or something like
Yeah,
that.
okay, I'd say recently, meaning
Like
year or two ago.
a year or two ago. Yes. Yes.
Hilarious. Absolutely. I don't know how many times I've told that story to people.
Oh my gosh.
I
You know what?
particularly like the blanket story. By the way, what can I do with this?
Well, I was thinking we could start to turn this into a.
Pair of socks?
This is very long socks. But actually, you know what? You can start working on a hat. Most
Okay.
people work on a scarf. I'm going
I want
to
a toque.
get Paul to wear a hat. To do it, that's exactly what this one's going to become. It's going to become a
Okay.
toque. So, because you're working this way, take the chain and measure it around your head, and let's see if it goes all the way around.
Okay.
Not quite. So let's do a few more chains to go all the way around, and then we're going to teach you the single crochet stitch.
Okay. Fantastic.
Mind blasting.
How exciting is that?
Hey, this is riveting TV, as my brother calls it. So you were at the bus station today?
I didn't know yesterday. I went by the bus station, and because I was thinking about that, there was a bus that used to go. If you ever wonder, where's Paul?
I wonder that very often, actually.
Well, now not so much because they stopped. Greyhound stopped going out west, right?
Oh, how come?
They don't have any buses going out west,
So how do people get out west? By train?
but you have to go by train. But they used to have
Really?
Western bus service.
I do remember that. So how long ago did they stop the bus service?
You know what? I don't know, but very recently. So there used to be a bus that
wonder
used to
why.
leave
But it was
Toronto
like
every day.
I used to hear it was like a 3-day journey,
Oh, at
3-day
least.
bus ride.
It'd go to Toronto, Vancouver. And
that's the thing. People who come to Canada, for example, like from the European countries, they don't understand, or I don't understand. Sometimes in 3 hours they're in another country. Here in 3 hours you haven't even left the province yet.
Oh God.
So a lot of times when Europeans come here and we say, "Oh yeah, it's a 3-day drive to get to the other end of the country," like most of them can't even grasp that concept.
and then there's also the time zones.
And the time
So
zones.
the drive, the time zones.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
2 days to get out of. It takes over 2 days
To get out of Ontario?
to get out of Ontario. Because you got to think.
Really? Because you have to go over, like around the lake, right?
Yeah. So.
I mean, unless you dip down into the American side and then come back up.
Yeah, but even if you're down, you're still below Ontario, right?
Wow.
So Ontario's
Yeah.
kind of that province that's on its side. Like if you think of the other one standing upright, it's like
Yes, yes,
Right?
true. Yeah.
you know.
I always used to see Ontario as the little fish on the map.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because all the other ones are taller
That's right.
than they are long. And
Yeah.
Ontario's the only one that's. Oh golly, you've made a mess here.
You're okay, just keep going.
Yeah.
So,
So what I was going to say is that if you ever wonder where I am in days gone past, it would be I'm contemplating taking the bus all the way to Vancouver because that would be kind of fun.
wow.
But
No,
now no longer because.
but actually, you took a train all the way out there, didn't you?
Okay, I took a train. My first train was.
Oh, and it was your first train.
No.
Oh, okay.
First time I did it as an adult, I only made it to Hope.
Where's Hope? What a great place to stop in.
Well, the reality is there was none.
Tell me more. See, this is why I love talking to Paul. There's always a story inside a story.
Well, you know, Hope is a little town near Vancouver, a couple hundred, I can say, maybe 2-3 hours out of Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Along the highway, the Trans-Canada Highway. Mm-hmm. And do you ever remember that movie called, its claim to fame? You guys remember that movie, First Blood?
I do remember
with
it.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yes, we're going back.
Yeah, it's, I can say 83.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where it was filmed.
No way! Of all places.
Hope. And
I wonder how the town got its name.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So there was a derailment, not on our train, but ahead of us. So the train was really delayed, and I needed to get to Kelowna. So what I thought I would do, I looked at a map, and I was going to be late. So what I did is I said, well, I got to get off this train so I can get to Kelowna. And I thought, I know. Where should I get off the train? Oh, look at this place. It's called Hope, which is kind of a name that gives me hope. And it's between two highways. So somewhere there's got to be a bus because there's two major highways, the Kokohala and Trans-Canada. So a bus has got to go by Hope.
You would hope so.
I would hope. Exactly. So I thought, okay, I'll just get off the bus. And I'll go to Hope. And I'll get a bus to Kelowna. Kelowna, by the way, is east of Hope. Okay. So we were heading west. And I thought it better me get off the bus close to Kelowna. Or get off the train close to Kelowna, grab the bus, and take it to Kelowna. That was my idea.
Right.
Which was a brilliant idea at the time, I thought. Anyhow, so what happened was, got off the train made a special stop so Paul could get off the train.
Wow.
And so I got off the train, and I took a cab to the bus depot, which was a 30-second cab ride.
Oh.
True story.
So you could have walked.
I could have walked, but I didn't know that.
Good Lord.
And the bus depot was in a bowling alley. And there was one guy.
For real?
Oh, yeah. It's a bowling alley / bus depot. So I go
You
there.
cannot write this in any, well, maybe you could write it in a movie script. Now I am riveted by this story. You have a bus station in a bowling alley, or was the bowling alley in the bus station?
It's the chicken before the egg.
Yeah.
That sort of, the questions like that go way past my...
So tell me, what happens when you get there after
So I get there, and it's early. It's 9 o'clock, and I thought, okay, this is fantastic. So thank you. So I say to the guy, who's about 18 years old, I'd like to get to Kelowna. And when's the next bus to Kelowna? He says 2 a.m. in the morning.
And you've arrived at what, 9 a.m.?
9 a.m. So I go, okay. He says, you got two choices. You can take that bus, or you can try to hitchhike.
Wow, even today people are still doing that.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, golly, what am I going to do? So I said, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go for a walk, and I'm going to come back.
And those are the only two options out of town?
Well, I guess I can get a cab, which will cost me hundreds of dollars. Or
A
something.
cab to Kelowna?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's another option. I thought, no, I'm not going to do that.
Wow.
This is the craziest thing.
Why
are there no more buses? He says, well, because they've made cutbacks and whatnot, and they're all express buses, and no one stops you.
Wow.
So I said, okay, well, let me go for a walk. So I walked around Hope and looked at the picture of Sylvester Stallone, because where they filmed the movie.
Yeah.
Right, so they're still trying to make hay of that. Anyway, so what happened was I go back to the bus depot, and there's still no one in the bowling alley. And I say, when's the next bus that leaves Hope? And he says, well, there's a bus that leaves Hope in about an hour.
Okay.
I said, well, where's it going? And he says, Chilliwack, which is actually the opposite direction, which is west. It's about an hour west of Hope.
But
so
Chilliwack sounds like it's a little bit more city-like
Yeah, it's a little
than
bit more-
Hope. So
it's a little bit more city.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would think, okay, maybe I'll just go a little further west to like get some zippier transport.
Exactly.
So did it work out that way?
So I said, oh, that's interesting. I said, can I get a bus from Chilliwack to Kelowna? And he says, oh yeah.
Well, why didn't you freaking say this? You know what this? Have you ever
ask
seen
the
the
right
movie?
questions.
Well, hold on. Have you ever seen the movie? Is it called The Big Lebowski? MG.
Yeah.
You have got to see this movie. It is basically a whole film that's very similar in scenarios like that. It's like, why don't you just say so in the first place?
Right.
It's with Jeff Bridges.
Right.
Or is it Bo? I think it's Jeff. It's
Okay.
Jeff Bridges. And it's a great cast, great cast. It's like a cult classic from the 80s,
Right.
80s
Right.
I believe. Yeah.
Right.
But, I mean, that's a typical thing. You're like, you could have told me this an hour ago.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what you ended up doing.
Right. It's like talking to a computer. They only
Siri,
answer the
tell me-
question that you ask,
Correct.
and not, you know.
Not deeper thinkers.
Right.
Got it.
You
Got
know.
it. Fair
So
enough.
anyhow, so that's what I did, and I managed to get to Kelowna. But that was the first time, and the second trip I took by train, I got off at Edmonton because
Okay.
the train was 15 hours late. So the train's supposed to
That's
get to
frustrating.
Edmonton at.
Is that a common thing? The trains
Oh
run
yeah.
late?
Oh golly, yeah.
That's annoying.
But it's fun, and you just meet so many interesting people because
Okay.
everyone has a story. Eh? No one
Yeah.
takes the decision to take the train across Canada lightly because everyone, of course, goes in the plane.
True.
And
And
it's 5
the train
hours.
is also expensive and it takes longer.
Yep, but you
But
know
you're
what?
going for the experience.
You're going for the experience, and you really see the country, and there's a much greater intimacy to the country when you're taking the train than even by the car. You know?
True, because in a car you still have to focus on the road. You have to be aware of
Right.
you're operating the car. In a train you can actually sit and enjoy the whole experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're not even aware of the track, whereas you are of the road.
Mm,
Because there's another lane beside you.
Right. You have
But
to be
you
aware of
can't-
other cars.
Right. And the train goes in not along the big routes, like along the big highways. Mm-hmm. Goes down the smaller roads or parallel to the smaller roads and whatnot. Because don't forget, the train was there before the road was there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I would really recommend taking the train.
Cross-country travel. That's the thing about where we live, whether it's here or in the States. Both of our countries have this vastness that I think sometimes we take for granted because we always think of like overseas as being. So that I think you did a few extras.
Right.
Let's take some out.
I was getting good at it, eh? Like these.
You're getting very good at it. Look at it.
Like that's getting good.
Very, very. And actually, look at the consistency of your tension. That's beautiful. Okay, so it is a little bit big on your head, right? Okay, so let's measure now. Whoa. Oh my God. Whose head would be this big? Let's see, you just got so excited here.
Yeah, no, I was kind of
Okay.
getting into it.
So, no, this is a fantastic way to practice, is just do thousands.
Right.
Let's measure your head now.
Okay.
I still think we might have to take out a few change, but
All right. Too much.
still too big. I mean, I know you're pretty smart, Paul, but come on. Your brains aren't that big. I would say. He's thinking, no, my beautiful work. Okay, so let's try that now. Yes, because you
perfect.
want a little bit of a stretch. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to go on to the single crochet stitch. Super
All right.
exciting. So what's going to happen, let me take my, because that's what I'm doing here is single crochets, but I'm using just a slightly different technique here. So what is going to happen here is you now want to, so you're left-handed, so you're going to work from left to right. You're going to turn around and you will now insert your hook, not in the first loop, but in the second one from your hook.
Okay.
So let me see if I can actually do this.
How did they come up with this stuff?
That is a
You know,
great freaking question.
like,
How did they come up with all these
From
ideas?
just thread and this little hook.
Now imagine knitters. I know nothing about knitting, but I'm fascinated by how they work those two needles, and there's no hook on the end.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty, I know, it's mind blasting.
Yeah.
So you're going to count the first loop, you're going to go into the second loop, and you're going to insert your hook into that chain.
Right.
Beautiful.
That's going to happen, right?
Yeah. So now you kind of have 2 loops on your hook.
Right.
Okay? So what you're going to do now is you're going to yarn over to catch a 3rd loop. See how there's a 3rd loop there?
So here it is right here. Right?
No, so
And then the second one.
yeah, so you've got the second one, you're good. So now your long yarn should be on the outside here. Yeah, or between here, that's fine.
Yeah.
So now you want to just kind of loop your hook under. Yeah, go towards the front,
This way?
away from you. Yeah. But go under the yarn. So the yarn will go over.
Right.
Okay, so hold on. Hold it like this. So you've got the 2 loops.
Okay, just like this. Is that right?
Okay, so you're going to have the long side on the other side.
Okay.
So hold the chain here.
Right.
And you're kind of between your fingers there, you've got the long side.
Right.
So what you want to do is you want to dip that hook under away from you so that you
Okay.
can loop that.
Gotcha.
Beautiful.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so now see how it catches the 3rd one? So now I want to pull that through just one loop like that. So through the first one. Yeah.
Through.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Okay.
Okay. And now you're going to resolve this stitch by doing it again. You're going to loop over, yarn over. Yeah. And then you pull through both of them. And see how that creates a bit more of a... Yes! Very good.
Wow.
So it creates more of a thicker stitch. So this is how you start building up your work.
Okay.
So now what you're going to do is you would do the same thing. You would go into the very next stitch beside it, and you would do the same thing.
Okay, so I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to go...
No. So you always have to hold your work... oh, sorry. Yeah, you want those V's to be in the front. So that's the
Okay.
front of your work. So you just finished working this loop. See how
Right.
it's stretched? So you're going to go into the second one there now.
Okay,
And you're going to do the same thing.
do that.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go around here and pull it.
Pull through the first one. Beautiful.
That.
And now you're going to yarn over again and pull through both of them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Not bad for teaching left-handed.
This is possibly the most exciting thing I've ever done in my life, and the most satisfying thing
Okay.
I've ever done in my life.
He's full of it, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. Very nice. So now what you want to do, the idea is to do that single crochet all the way back this way. So how you build up your work is you go all the way here, then you turn around, and then you work back and forth.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. This is super exciting. This is further than a lot of people have gotten
Oh, is that right?
with a full-on project.
Okay, now I've got to go to the second loop, which is this one here. I always skip one loop, right?
No, you just go to the loop beside the last one you worked. So that's, so
This
see
one?
how that's the last one you worked? Nope,
Yeah.
that's the last one you worked. So you're going to go to the next one.
This one here.
No, this, see how this one has thread coming out of it? That's been worked.
Okay.
So you have to go to the next one where your thumb is. That's the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're making progress.
Yeah.
Wow. Paul, did you ever think you were going to just be hanging out crocheting?
No, and what surprised me is just how much I'm enjoying it.
See?
Really?
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, it really is a lot of fun.
Actually, I'm so
and
excited.
it really is kind of meditative.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited at how many men have volunteered to come and learn some crochet and chat with me. It's been really, really cool.
Yeah, I like
So
it.
what do you think your friends would say of you doing a little crochet?
Or
Or maybe they wouldn't be surprised.
well, I'll try to get balance back in my life because I'm going to go play hockey.
Oh,
So, you know, I just need to
once
regain my
on one end you've got the
equilibrium.
hockey, on one end you've got the crochet. Why not? Actually, that's a great combo. You know,
Yeah.
some physical. How long have you been playing hockey?
Oh, golly, 30 years.
Oh gosh, okay. So you're typical Canadian boy. Did you do the street hockey as a kid?
Yeah.
You know, and then you'd play the car and everybody move out of the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I never played, obviously, but I remember the kids in the neighborhood doing that.
Yeah, and it's...
Fun times.
We usually play in the driveway.
Yeah, in the driveway. But like if a bunch of the neighborhood kids got out, then you kind of snuck out onto the street, even though you were told to stay off the street. But you know, there was something about looking back on being a kid, the freedom of no responsibility, and you don't appreciate it until you're much older, because when you're that age, you're like, you can't wait to be an adult. Can't wait to be an adult, can't wait to be an adult. And then you're an adult and you're like, crap.
Well, it's like that when you retire. Cause then
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because it's like being a teenager again. So,
wow.
You know, you can do anything you want almost.
And what is that like? Yeah, it's like you wake up and it's like you don't have to be anywhere.
You don't have to be anywhere. And you can, no, I shouldn't say you can go, well, you still have responsibilities. Of course,
sure, but in a
but,
much different way.
It's just the freedom that's just wonderful. I'm going to stop here for a second. Say,
Yeah.
How do I do this again? I've lost my train of thought. This way?
Yep.
Right. And
Pull through. Beautiful.
Right.
And then you yarn over and pull through again.
And through those two little loops, right? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on.
Go.
Yeah. And now
Something is weird here.
Yeah, it doesn't look right.
Oh, you skipped one. That's why. Okay, we got to take this out.
Actually, to be honest, Karen, I've really enjoyed doing this crochet.
Aww.
I really have.
Isn't it great? I mean, it's something that when you realize how creative. Well, first of all, when you start realizing, oh wow, I'm actually making this. That's kind of what got me hooked back into it again. I really like it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I learned when I was younger from a grade 5 teacher. She started a crochet club in school.
Oh, you
and so I learned how to make a dress for my Cabbage Patch doll. And then, like throughout my teens and stuff, the odd time, the only thing I remembered how to make was a scarf.
Right.
And then a couple years ago, a friend of mine, she got pregnant, and I said, oh, I'll make her a baby blanket. And then I went on good old YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And I rediscovered this whole world. And I was like, oh, wow, I can actually do other things. And hey, it's actually kind of good. And so it just ignited my whole passion for creating stuff. So, yes, my family knows every Christmas there's always something crocheted in there for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wanted to give you a big thanks, Paul. I know you're kind of a busy guy. You got a lot of stuff going on, so I've loved having this conversation with you. But I have one more question for you before we go. And based on the fact that you're an avid traveler and you've met lots of people, what do you think makes the world go round? Talk about deep.
Yeah. Yeah, as I try to struggle with this stitch and think about that question at the same time. You know what? I really think that it's about connecting with someone else, having human relations, and that's, I think, the thing that's the key to happiness, and also the thing that makes the world go round.
Wow, you heard it here. Paolo, thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen.
I've loved this time. We'll have him back again soon. Thanks to Paul. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Stitch Sessions. Make sure to check out next week's tutorial. We're going to talk about making these toques. And so make sure to click subscribe and just click on that notification button so you'll know anytime we upload a video, which is every Wednesday. So in the meantime, happy crocheting and thanks so much. Till next time, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.